Hey guys, John V here from PhoneArena. Right now you're watching our in-depth video review of the second generation Amazon Kindle Fire HD. So it looks the same and it might even have the same spec sheet as last year's model, but the cool thing about this tablet is that it's sporting a significantly lower price point of only $139, so it makes it a very appealing tablet if you're really tight on a budget. Now, the second generation Amazon Kindle Fire HD employs a similar design to its sibling in HDX, so very familiar with its choice of materials and its overall design. From the front, it still kind of looks boxy and bland. However, when we flip it to the rear, that's where we notice the biggest design change between this and last year's model. Like I said, it looks similar to the HDX. Similar design elements here. You have a contoured bevel edge around the sides of the tablet itself. A uniform soft touch matte finish. It does a decent job of masking fingerprints and smudges. Every now and then you'll see that accumulate, but a quick rub will actually get them away. But this time around, it's a little bit more uniform, and the construction is okay. It's a little bit of hollowness, but that you can't really expect a whole lot in terms of looks, especially for its price point. So it feels pretty good holding the tablet in landscape just because it kind of hugs our hands perfectly, and we like those contoured bevel edge right there. It kind of adheres to our hands, but it's still rather wide when you hold it with one hand in portrait, significantly wider than the Nexus 7, so there's more stretching required by our hand to grasp it. It's actually the same display here on the Kindle Fire HD 2013 edition. So it's 7 inches in size, resolution stands at 1280 by 800 pixels, it relies on IPS LCD technology, and delivers a pixel density of 216 pixels per inch. So the resolution stands at 1280 by 800 pixels. It doesn't beat its sibling in the HDX, but still pretty sharp looking. We're pretty satisfied with what it's able to put out. Honestly, from a normal viewing distance, it's almost hard to even notice the difference between this and the HDX's display. Pretty sharp looking still, and on top of that, it's still able to draw out a lot of good details. Color tones with the display tend to have a little bit of a warmer tone to them. So when it comes to the color white, we notice that it has a little bit of a yellow tinge to it. Still not bad, nice and vibrant. It employs this advanced polarizing filter and anti-glare technology to offer pretty good viewing when it comes to outdoor usage, though at extreme angles, we do notice some visible distortions. Not bad at all. At the end of the day, it's not really a spectacular display, but it doesn't need to be just because for the price point and all, it gets the job done. Taking a peek around the edges of the tablet, we have a micro USB port for charging data connectivity. We have a recessed home button. It's a good placement when you're holding the tablet in landscape, but not so much in portrait. On one side here, we have one speaker grill, and on the other, you have the other set, so it wields 2 speakers. You have the volume controls as well, also recessed, but good, nice responsive feel. And finally, you have also a 3.5mm headset jack. Interestingly enough, there are no cameras whatsoever found with this year's Amazon Kindle Fire HD. They omitted it entirely, so you don't have a rear one or even a front-facing one for video chat, so it kind of limits its overall functionality compared to the competition out there. So this actually runs the same custom UI that's on the Amazon Kindle Fire HDX, so nothing different about it. It's the new Fire OS 3.0 experience, which is codenamed Mojito, and it's based off of Android Jelly Bean. Now, if you're familiar with the last year's Amazon Kindle Fire HD, this is very familiar. It honestly doesn't change that much. Still very simplistic, bare bones, a pretty much controlled experience just because it caters around Amazon, and unlike regular Android, you don't have as much flexibility when it comes to the customization aspect with the home screen. We just have the usual carousel of icons and content here that have been accessed very recently. Below that, some additional icons, and up top, it's broken down to different subcategories. Now, it's great that the experience caters to Amazon's ecosystem, so whether you're looking up for videos, music, digital content like books, audiobooks, some newspapers, it's great just because it caters to that. But aside from that, you're missing out on all the stuff that makes Android such a great experience. For example, it doesn't have any of the Google brand applications, so you don't have things like Gmail or Google Maps. You're left with just generic applications here. And on top of that, you don't have the customization or just the depth of functionality that the typical Android experience offers us. Well, at least we're offered some of the core foundations of Android. For example, you have a unified notifications area, which you pan down from the top panel. And if you want to quickly quickly navigate between various open applications. We could actually swipe from the right and we could instantly jump to different things. Far from being the most intimidating thing, the tablet's powered by a dual-core 1.5 GHz processor with 1 GB of RAM. Now here in the home screen with the carousel, of course it moves pretty smoothly here, but for other basic tasks, some trivial things, it just kind of has a little bit of delay with its operation. For example, just switching the orientation from portrait to landscape, it's not as fast compared to the Kindle Fire HDX. And as far as other basic things, whether you're actually jumping between open applications, there's just a little bit delay in its operation. It's not the most instantaneous thing, nor is it actually the slowest thing out there, but you're going to have to wait with certain things. We actually prefer typing with the portrait option just because the keyboard is a lot more spacious for our thumbs, trying to encompass the entire layout. It's still pretty okay when it comes to its responsiveness. With the landscape option, it's just a little bit too cramped for our taste. Like we said, it's not the fastest thing out there. When it comes to the web browsing experience, it does take some time to actually load up pages that are pretty heavy with images. And on top of that, it just seems to struggle when it comes to on-the-fly rendering. We notice that it just has a little bit of delay trying to pop up everything once again. But other things like kinetic scrolling, pinch zooming, seems to work rather well. It's just the loading initially and page rendering that seems to be an issue. Even though we see the software experience being upgraded, we don't see any visual changes with the music player itself. To tell you the truth, it's the same exact one from last year, so it's very generic, but there's one new feature that they throw in that's in tow with it, and it's called the X-ray feature, which allows us to actually check out some of the lyrics as it's playing a song, so which is pretty neat, similar to a karaoke style. Aside from that, it only works with content that's purchased through Amazon. Other things that are stored locally on a device that we copy from a computer, it just doesn't seem to recognize. As far as the audio quality, it's kind of mediocre. It's not really, it lacks any commanding tones and just seems a little bit muted. Unfortunately, we're still required to actually utilize a third-party application to watch video that's stored locally on the device. Sure, you have the Amazon Instant Video service to stream stuff over the air if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, but for other content that you have saved locally, you guys still download this application. Now, it handles video playback relatively well. It doesn't have any slowdown or stutter, and of course, with the display, it's still pleasant enough to use. There's really nothing worth bragging about with the battery life with this tablet. Now with full charge, we're able to get approximately a day and a half of normal usage, which consists of mostly surfing the web, sending emails, and on occasion just some 30-minute TV episodes. There's a reason why it's priced where it is. At $139, no doubt, that's a steal in anyone's books, but you get what you pay for. It's not quite as enticing compared to the Amazon Kindle Fire HDX, especially when you look at the tablet, the way it performs and what it offers. It doesn't even have a camera, so there's a lot of things limited about this tablet. It's more of a consumption device than anything else. As much as some people are going to be attracted to the low price point of the second generation Amazon Kindle Fire HD, you got to stop, think about it, just because what you're paying for a tablet is something that you might use just for basic things. If you really want an encompassing experience, something that's deeper and something that's far more usable, you might want to spend a little bit more money and probably pick up the Google Nexus 7 as an option. But if not, if you're in that tight squeeze, then this is still a decent option for you, as long as you could tolerate the slower performance. So if you guys want to learn more about the second generation Amazon Kindle Fire HD, you can check out our website, PhoneArena.com. It's John V. Thanks for watching.